What's up, everybody? It's Duke Boy coming at y'all again. My YouTube page, welcome. This is where I discuss the hottest topics. I discuss the things that no one wants to talk about and shy away from. And today, I've been getting a lot of inquiries, requests, people asking me about what did I do the entire 22 years that I was incarcerated. Don't like to talk about the things that happened during that period of time. I feel like it was a waste of time, but I made the best out of the situation. But for the purpose of people continuing to ask me about it, felt like I'd freestyle some things and just throw a few things around, and in no particular order, just gonna give it to you the best way that it rolls off the top of my mind. So, uh, well, if anyone doesn't know, uh, for all of those that don't know, I was incarcerated for armed robbery uh, back in December of 1999. Uh, had multiple prior convictions, um, which ultimately all landed me in federal prison, and for a little over 40 years. So I was 19 years old when I was incarcerated. Didn't get out until I was 42. I'm 42 now. So, with that being said, while I was incarcerated, I'm not sure if you was able to look at the guy Paul Stony Miles, who's currently in Spartanburg Regional Hospital right now. He's fighting for his life. He was my first roommate, and he taught me a lot of ropes to the game, to the prison game, or whatever you want to call it. When I was his roommate, he was my first cellie. Wise man. He's a lot older than I am. He's 70, I believe he's 72 now. So the things he taught me was help me to easily navigate through the troubled waters behind those walls back there, because you have a lot of people that's walking around, they're bitter, they're stressing about things they have no control over, just going through situations, people lying to them in society, treating them all kind of ways, um, just so you're around a very hostile environment where people just, you know, walk around with chips on their shoulder, and you have to deal with that part, that aspect of prison. Then you have to deal with your own problems and situations that comes about by you being in that environment, along with everything else. It's just like it's a package deal. You have to be strong through it. So, um, in the beginning, things was kind of tough for me. I got into a lot of fights, because in federal prison, you're around every race of people: black, white, Chinese, Hispanic, Dominican, Puerto Rican, uh, West Indies. You around everybody from everywhere in the United States, and you have to deal with different cultures and different personalities and characters. It's just a lot of people, a lot of things you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I got into a lot of situations, because once again I was young. I was feeling myself. I went in there with the mentality that I still had things figured out in life, but I didn't. I was lost, trying to figure things out, trying to keep up a certain street image, and that's what happened. So, you have a lot of gang activity back there. I didn't participate in any gang activities, but you have this thing that they call cars. And cars back in prison, federal prison, is where you from. I'm from South Carolina, so my car, which is the group of people that you bond with, is from South Carolina or from North Carolina. Sometimes at certain prisons, South and North Carolina stick together. And some of it, it doesn't make any sense. But for the purpose of survival and sticking together, because the gangs are high in numbers, and you have to be able to keep your numbers up so you can match their numbers. So just in case anything does happen, um, I was in, I moved around. I went from South Carolina prisons. I went there and went to Virginia, Lee County in Virginia. I was there for a certain amount of years, 4 to 5 years. Went from there to Pollock, Louisiana. I was there for 3 years. I left there, went to Pennsylvania. I was at Pennsylvania for 2 years. Left Pennsylvania and went to Colorado, Florence, Colorado. I was there for a little over 6 months. I left Colorado, Florence, and went to USP Coleman, Florida. And I stayed there for a year. Then I left Florida and I went to California, Atwater, California. And from Atwater, California, I went to, I went back. Oh, yeah. I went from there back to South Carolina. And this is during the end of my prison sentence. And a tornado hit the prison and they had to move us back. We went back to Pennsylvania, to one of the previous spots. So I moved around. I've seen a lot of things, done a lot of things. I learned a lot of things, had multiple roommates, had a lot of fights, had to stab a couple of people up. I learned how to box. I learned jujitsu, learned a little kung fu. I learned a lot. I got my GED in prison, because I didn't finish high school. I went all the way to the 11th grade. I learned, I was a jailhouse lawyer for at least 15 years of the 22 years that I was incarcerated. I started out fighting my own case first. Then I started helping other people because it's like you're a prison paralegal and everybody comes to you. Got a lot of results for a lot of people. And I used to be asking myself, man, I'm helping all these people get out of prison, but I can't get myself out. And I noticed that was the case for a lot of people that was jailhouse lawyers like me when I was incarcerated. But one guy told me, he said, man, that was probably one of your callings, to be a vessel for the Creator to help those guys get free. So I took that and rolled with it. But I did a lot of reading, read a lot of books, self-help books, positive books, urban novels, fiction, whatever you name it, I read it. And I learned a lot. And so in a nutshell, that's pretty much what I did when I was incarcerated. And I read up on business law, read up on a lot of things. I started writing books. I wrote multiple books. My first book that I published when I was incarcerated in 2016 was a book called The Bird Who Could Not Fly. And it's on Amazon.com right now. The second book I wrote and published was a short story book, Duke's collection of short stories, which is on Amazon as well. The third book I wrote and published was Cream of the Crop. It's on Amazon as well. And I have written a string of other books, 12 other books that I just have sitting right now, that every maybe 4 to 6 months I'll publish one, put it out there. And what I've noticed, a lot of African Americans, we don't actually read books a lot, not because we can't read. Many of us, we can read very well. It's just that, I believe that we're not interested in reading it. But saying all that to say this right here, that's pretty much in a nutshell what I was doing in prison. And everything else, I exercised, I played sports in the beginning, I did basketball, did a lot of tag football, used to play the football tickets, the basketball tickets, and stamps was the money. You have these stamps, these books, 20 stamps on one book. That was the money. Every book of stamps could range, depending on what prison you was at, it could range from between $8 to $10, for every book of stamps. So, you have these stamps and you use it, and sometimes you can use your commissary as money. If you owe somebody something or whatever, you're trying to buy something from somebody, and then you give them food for whatever it is you're trying to get. And it's prison is like, it's like you're in a whole nother world. It's a whole nother list of things that I could run down right now, but I don't want to get too deep into things. I'm going to save that for my documentary that I'm going to be unrolling after the summer. I'm currently working on right now. So I appreciate y'all's time. I'm not going to hold y'all up any longer from y'all's whatever, Facebook time, TikToking time, or working time, or whatever it is that you're doing in life. I just want you to be safe. I want y'all to continue to strive to be better versions of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And display love as much as possible. Even in this evil world that we live in, we still can display that love. And stay focused. Move forward with your plans. Don't be afraid to do whatever it is that you need to do to get ahead in life. And stay safe. Much love, y'all. Peace.